Hello everybody and welcome back to Thief 2 The Metal Age. This is Mission 9, Trail of Blood, and as you can tell we are not in a city anymore. Let's take a look at the objectives here. We need to follow the Trail of Blood to find the destination of the wounded pagan who we saw shot by mechanists at the end of the last mission. Trace the courier. We need to get a map or some information about where we are, and we can't kill any humans. Now this is a rather telling word, as we will see relatively shortly. The map here is nice and vague because of course we don't know where we are. We're just in the wilderness. There's just this, there's a page for notes and nothing else currently. And you know, it's a little interesting, this mission, because this one, you know, is, I believe, the only one that really takes place outside the city proper. Of course, as you can tell, we're sort of in a grove, I guess. It's surrounded by rocks. This mission, in terms of its design, in terms of its layout, to me is probably the one that has aged the most poorly out of all the missions of maybe even Thief 1 and Thief 2, because it doesn't really sell the forest angle to my mind. And this is no doubt just because of the limitations of the engine, I guess. I mean, you've got to have a wall around the perimeter essentially, so that's got to be either a bunch of closely packed trees, or it's got to be rocks like this. So it's all a little strange, but despite that, it's certainly a very different environment. So we're following these blood trails, and there are going to be a few other things we can pick up. So we're going to head around the borders occasionally to try to find just leftover things. There might be some moss arrows. Yep. As well as some loot. Now, there is no loot requirement on this mission, but there is kind of a sort of a hidden bonus objective that will pop up if we get enough. The other thing that we'll notice is we're already getting into some village territory here. We're getting some housing, also a bit of supernatural stuff with these little will-o'-the-wisp lights. And stuff is going to get kind of strange and supernatural here in a moment.
You can have this. I don't need it anymore.
Come, Lily. Must we go?
His name's Dewdrop, and he doesn't like Satanists.
Lily.
I have to go now.
Alright, so this is Dewdrop, and to be honest, I've never really played around with this. I think there's some stuff you can do by throwing it in the presence of mechanists, but I'm not 100% clear on what that actually involves. So we have Dewdrop in our inventory for whatever that's worth. Maybe we'll give it a shot again in this mission. We've got our coin from the previous one, of course. We did not get a chance to do any buying or selling at the store in between missions, so we've got our 425 loot. We do have our invisibility potion from the last one. That's good to know. We've got our 2 scouting orbs, and otherwise that's it. We don't even have lockpicks, which is a little odd that they took those away. There's going to be some occasional things in here, some books. Most of these are just going to be like pagan lore, as you can tell. So this is some sort of lesson that Lily is learning, apparently. And you'll notice all their names have woodland sort of themes. You know, again, this is going to sound like I'm critiquing the game. Maybe a little more than is necessary. But the pagans, I don't know. I never really liked how they were presented all that much. Thief 3 really overdid it, in my view, but they didn't do it that much more than they did in Thief 2, to be perfectly honest. So now we've got our village map. We can just right-click that here, and this gives us our outline of the map. Now, the other thing about this mission that left maybe a bit of a, I don't know, an unfortunate impression to my mind is its linearity, and that, to be fair, is, you know, part of the design. It's to be expected. As you can tell, there's not a lot of branching paths here. We're going to basically go to the end of the gathering place. But that's because we're following a trail of blood, right? So there's not going to be a lot of mazy options for us to take. There are still some mechanists around. So we'll have to be a bit careful of that. I think he's got a coin purse.
I knows it was here. I knows it.
Looking for this vile heathen?
My side. Gives it here.
Gladly, pagan. Gladly.
Yeah, so it's the speech patterns, it's the just the tone of voice, the intonation of the pagans. Whether we're talking the human pagans or the creatures, as we'll see in a little bit, just seems a little too cartoony. We do have a book here. There's occasionally very well hidden coins scattered around. And here we see a rehabilitation of the trickster, so to speak, which again is probably one of the things that I struggled with a bit. In the first game, of course, Trickster is pretty straightforwardly a bad guy. And I suppose you could argue that that's, you know, boring or it's not morally gray enough. And so introducing this sort of different style of Trickster, showing the good side, is maybe a good thing. I mean, the game is all about balance, right? Or the lack of balance. So whereas the first game was about sort of the pagans getting the upper hand, and we're seeing how bad that could turn out, this game is about seeing order and machines and man's mastery of nature winning out. Which is alright. I'm not much of a theme guy, to be honest. If the gameplay is good, if the atmosphere is good, I'm not looking that much to sort of get a message out of the game. Now there is we're going to need to go into the stream here, I believe, and for a couple of different items. Nope, not here. Okay, maybe I'm remembering it wrong. I'll probably be popping in and out. Okay, just a flash. Not a flash bomb, just a scouting orb.
What? You? Gets the children to the gathering place. Quickly now.
Wilders Gardens. Alright, I'm not going to read the pagan stuff. It's a little note about gardening, apparently. I don't think he has anything on him. Ah, here we go. So these eyes, and I'm calling them eyes for a reason which will become clear a bit later. I believe they move around the mission. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I seem to recall that there are a few different places where they might be found.
Rats would be wise to scurry elsewhere.
I believe we do have to go into this larger building, though.
Check thy map. Several have escaped from somewhere near the gathering place.
Yes, I have seen it. The wretched heathens did perform a ritual that allowed them to pass through. But alas, I could not follow.
The Builder will forgive us if we perform their pagan rituals in pursuit of his wishes.
Yes, friend, thou speakest the truth. Let us wait. Did you hear that? There's someone behind those trees.
Now, there is someone in that building. So I may want to go ahead and put this out.
Boys, I'm as sure of it as the Builder himself.
Yeah, right there. Now, he does turn fairly frequently. See, we may want to get up these stairs. Okay, we do have a note down here, actually. Okay, this is actually the clue. Light up the lights of the gathering place till all of them glow around the Woodsy Lord's head, and open the eyes by bringing the rubies and placing them there, and then jump in his mouth when it glows all red, for this is the way to the lair of the greens. And so that's what we're gonna need to do to go forward, and that's what those two dead mechanists were almost going to accomplish, presumably before they were killed by some pagans. Speed potion here, and geez, I don't know if we had other noisemaker arrows or if that was a batch of 5 right there. So I guess we could theoretically use those to move around here, but I don't think it's really necessary. I do recall going up this ladder, though. Okay, just some more broadhead. Okay, we've got like some apples. Not a big deal.
The wind plays tricks on me today.
So we've got 1 ruby, we're going to need 1 more. And I'm not totally sure where that is, but I think I want to go back towards the stream. As he turns around. Wrong way. Alright, just 1 more quarter turn. Back in that direction. Okay, you know what? There we go. So yeah, I think we can pretty much get across the stream here and just take a look. Oops. Well, I thought I might be able to make it to the other side, but I think this is actually possibly a good thing. We at least got a moss arrow out of it. Nope. If that ruby is somewhere, it's certainly not in these gaps between the trees. Oh, there it is. Okay, just needed to go down a little bit further.
He aims the honeymaker,
He hams the jacksberry.
sits we down under his treesy roofs.
Eats we all of his leaves and gifts.
He feeders us.
Alright, we got some coins. What else we got? Okay, now this is interesting. Jabril. I have not really paid too much attention, but this is a recurring name. And we saw it in, I think, one of the... Was it the last mission or one of the ones just before it? And this guy seems to be not a pagan himself, certainly the way he talks at any rate, but maybe just some kind of underworld contact from the city who's helping out the pagans, or at least, you know, getting deals from them. Well, we do need to go over here anyway. And now we've got our two eyes. We could theoretically just go up now towards the gathering place. Now we can also get up here. I can't remember if there's anything worth getting. I'm happy to give it a shot. We do have a bit of awkward ladder maneuvering, however, so I'm a little concerned about that, about jumping off and maybe bumping my head, or just not grabbing the right thing. So let's... Okay, that worked a lot better than it could have. So we got some activity down there, and that's the direction we'll need to go. Pretty much that stone wall up there is actually a structure that we can get inside. Okay, there's literally nothing here. But we do have a dead mechanist, and yeah, we've got some stuff. Those are flash bombs, I think.
What shadow passed my view?
Dragonfly flits about.
Okay, that was very generous of the game to not have me be caught right there. So I kind of thought that was going to happen, but we're close enough now that honestly it wouldn't be a big deal. There's not too much left to loot, I don't think. So yeah, let's just head inside and we'll grab... Okay, we've got a slow fall potion. Let's get the eyes ready.
What noise there? Softly called.
Comes now, Birch. We've lit the lights and opened up the eyes of the woodsy lord. What left was number to do.
Tread there.
Someone has to stay behind to delay the mechanist's threat.
But we needs you with us, Birch.
No! Takes Minnow and go! Go now!
Look out!
Alright, and we can see the trail of blood goes here into the mouth. Alright, and we are in a new area. Now this portal may be familiar to you from the last game. It certainly seems familiar to Garrett, at least. He will make mention of it fairly soon here.
Looks like I'm still on the right track.
Ah, yes. The creepiest part of the mission right here. Just terrible. There's no way to avoid them, so we just have to live with it.
Is this the maw? Looks different.
As you can see, there's not even any real good shadows Fortunately, there's no consequence that I can tell. So he just commented that this is the maw, or it seems to be the maw. Alright, so the bloodstain is going that way. Now I may sort of go off trail a little bit here because there is some stuff we could gather if I remember correctly. There's some useful stuff, like maybe a gas arrow or two. And there is some loot as well. So we'll just try to keep our eyes open for that stuff. There are also some new creatures, as you can tell up there, walking along the ledge. There's another one over there. There's the gas arrow over in that direction to the south. So we won't find it this way, but there might be something else useful. I honestly can't remember where the stuff is. And I'm not sure if that water is dangerous. So I've always just stayed right out of it. So the Maw reference would be the Maw of Chaos mission, the final mission from Thief 1. And this does look, somewhat similar, I guess, in that you've got some purple stone. But really the main difference is the plant life. Now, how can we get over here? I think there's another way down. We could possibly jump over, but again, I'm not feeling like experimenting with that water. Alright, so here we've got a totally new arrow. This is a vine arrow. Pretty sure this is the first time seeing them. So they work just like rope arrows, but you can shoot them into, I believe, anything. Or in addition to wood, you can also attach them to stuff like metal grates. I don't know if there's any other types of surfaces they'll work on. Like, will they work on literally every surface? Like stone, for example. I don't think so, but I've never tried it. Alright, so the trail's going this way. I'm kind of curious if we go down here, will we be able to get anything different? No, it's just another way around. But there's that gas arrow hovering down there. And I'm guessing we'll find soon enough a way to get to it. Yeah, if we follow this down, I think. Let's a little closer to these guys. So he's carrying. Probably a little hard to see in the light here, but what he's carrying is like a blow dart of some kind, very short. But the idea is they use this like a ranged weapon, and it does some damage to you. So these are kind of like the creatures we saw in the mission Escape, Strange Bedfellows, Into the Maw of Chaos. But they're more ape-like. Those guys had like rat tails. These do not. What do we have over here? Oh, so Mechanist Mace. So this is Mechanist remains, presumably. I guess the implication is that these plants are eating them, or processing them somehow. Okay, that's the way I went up. So if we, let's see, where'd that gas arrow go? I'm guessing we're just not in the right zone for it. Is it over there? Or is that where we were? Okay, it's right down here. Alright, we can actually climb down. go. So, one gas arrow could be really useful, depending on how the mission goes. And we're back on the trail. See, do we want to try a lean forward knockout? Yes. That actually worked. Now, he doesn't seem to have anything. So this would presumably be one of the melee type guys. Hard to get a good look at their faces, but kind of look like little Bigfoots, I guess. Alright, so that's the trail, but I think we can head off over here. To kind of get around, yeah. And that is, I believe that's a new kind of loot, actually. Yeah, so this is something that we saw in the second mission. Some of that glass, right, from, was it Capez's workshop? Worth a decent amount. So this is actually the way on. Now we can get through here. Just by putting out lights and moving carefully. I don't know that there's anything over there, so let's just move on. Alright. And now we're through into a really new zone. Let's see up ahead. Yeah, we've got a lot of light here. Now this water is okay to get through, and I believe if you go down, or maybe it's up, there are some other vine arrows you can grab. Okay, we've got a letter, and I'll just allow you to pause here if you want to read through the whole thing. I guess this is the first of a series of letters that we're going to find.
Mine's Plumsies? Them's Plumsies mines.
No! Plumsy taker! Giving them backsies!
I eaters them. Plumsies all gone.
So yeah, these are not just beasts, they speak. And let's see. Oh. He does not have a long patrol. I've got a bunch of these though. Let's see how far his patrol is. Oh, that's great. It's stuck in the weeds. Okay, he doesn't have a long patrol there either. are some shadows around here. I remember this being a very, very tricky spot. And, you know, I guess it is. We'll probably run into trouble. But I'm playing it a little cautious here. You can barely see like a railing up there. And we do want to get up. Oh, is there someone up high? Yes. Alright, I want to quickly grab these and let's just get into the dark here. There is, if we were to stay down, there's probably some more gold and loot to find. But we're already at 1,000, which is pretty good considering I think we started at under 500 and have not really been trying to loot all that much. I believe we're going to have this guy come back. The one who is just on the upper level. Yeah, so I'm okay with knocking these guys out. I just don't feel quite so responsible for ghosting when it's not humans for some reason. So I'll make life slightly easier at times. Alright, there might be stuff in here. Okay, we've got a sleeping one. Looks like a speed potion. Okay, and another letter. We do seem to find these in the order in which they were delivered, so you can sort of follow Mosley's, various levels of contact with the group. Okay, so that down there is where we came out of, and yeah, you can see we're sort of in an upper level tree walkway. There's going to be, again, more stuff down in the lower levels, but this area does an okay job, I guess, at the illusion of being in a forest. They've at least got that that backdrop of trees and undergrowth to sell it a little bit.
No, guards me in summers.
Who then? Who guards these winters?
None guards is it. For what's good gets that fars.
None's good.
None's good makes it.
So we need to go, if I remember correctly, to the right. And they're talking about winters and summers. That's the different regions. I think the one we were last in was like autumn or, fall, essentially. This one would be summer, I guess. Waiting for that guy to come back to see what he does. Oh, okay, he just heads down there. So then we can get over here. Yeah, there's definitely some more loot, but I don't think we need to go down. Wait for that one to come back, knock this guy out, and then just follow in that direction to the next section. Putting that this way, I don't think he'll slide. Okay, good. And up here we've got some more arrows. Just broadheads. probably good where he is.
Quiet.
So yeah, I think we need to get past that one. Again, there's some more guards down below. I think that's a way to get down, but I don't think there's really much.
Nothing now. Hey, trickster. Nothing now.
Alright, we get another plum. Yeah, I don't think at this point we're going to need it. And another letter. Alright, so this is, I guess, the key piece of information, which of course Garrett has really had since Mission 5, right? That Truart is working with the Mechanists at least. And here is the piece that, Garrett has been caught up.
So it's been the Mechanists behind my problems this whole time.
Yeah, I mean, it's the other faction, right? Of course it is.
I hope this guy doesn't run out of blood.
Okay. Now here, there's should be no guards, because we heard those beasts talking about how no one guards this part of the map. No one guards winter. As you could tell, it's sort of in a snowy landscape, because no one could get that far. So what we'll do is head down and do a little loot gathering. There is a letter up here first, next to some dead fish, I guess. And here we go with the assassination. So that totally confirms it if there was any doubt. Yeah, down here, we'll just have to look around. There's going to be, yep, there's a diamond right over here. Things like nuggets of gold or silver. Here's one. Okay, and there's our new objective, which we have immediately accomplished, which is get at least 900 loot while you're in, hostile territory. Now, our loot total is well above that. We started with 425 or something, but this just considers or counts the gold that we picked up while we're actually on this mission. So we'll just kind of keep looking around the edges. Now, at a certain point, I'm gonna have to find my way back in. Which tree trunk did we come out of? I know it's in the middle. Oh man. Just imagine that I'm still looking for loot and not actually lost here. Ah, here we go. Okay. I'm not sure if we found everything, but I don't want to spend the time and lose my way again. So we'll head on through. It's kind of a shame they didn't do more with this area because the environment's kind of cool. There was a part into the Maw of Chaos in Thief 1 where you had to navigate sort of sloped terrain with that icy stuff, and it's interesting to walk on because it sort of keeps your momentum a little bit and you have to move a little differently. So it would have been interesting to have to actually sneak by or even fight on that type of terrain. But now we're basically blocked. Chop that down. hearing some new noises, which is actually some new creatures, which we probably, hopefully, won't see. These are the tree beasts that are actually sort of in a static position around this section. So I'm not sure if they are going to come to life if we stick around long enough or what, but I always end up going to this like tube structure. I think there's 2 more over there. Here we go.
Garrett.
Victoria.
Garrett. Who is it you wish to fight? Me? Or my Thistlades? Oh, or the Sycamore?
Just you.
I am not the enemy, Garrett, nor anyone here. Here is your enemy. Mechanists. It's no secret that they wish to destroy you, too. Hero that you are. Regardless, you will join us in our struggle against them.
Join you? Not really my first choice.
Choice? My choice is to avenge the death of a friend. You understand nothing of suffering and duty. Pathetic man fool. In one moment I could...
The past is the past. Now we have an enemy in common. Even you must see that this is so.
I seem to have a lot of enemies lately. Anyway, you have matters well in hand.
It is true that I am powerful, but I draw my strength from this place. Where the mechanists are, I am not so assured of victory.
Pity.
I have no time for your vengeful thoughts and biting words. But be assured, Garrett, you are stronger with us than without us. We have been watching the mechanists for 3 moons. Pagan agents are posted in every sector of the city. Your report, Larkspur.
1 loss in the Old City, and 2 more in Dayport.
Sometimes enemies must join forces to overcome a more terrible foe. So tell me, Garrett, yes or no? Are we agreed to work together, sharing knowledge and skills against the mechanists? I put vengeance aside. The Earth keeps my promise for me. Now you have my oath on it. I'm cursed if I break the covenant. Now your answer.
I agree that...
Good. The Earth keeps your promise for you.
All right, and there's the end of Trail of Blood. So obviously a really visually fascinating cutscene there, one of my favorites in the series. And, you know, it strikes me this is a game where it seems like they really wanted to carry forward that, you know, switch, you've got to work with your enemies type thing that occurred in the first game, but which largely happened off screen. You know, Garrett around mission 10 or 13, depending on whether you're using the original Dark Project or the gold version of the game, has a run-in with the Hammerites in Strange Bedfellows, which is very perfunctory. There's like a one line sort of dialogue. He starts working with them, but you have to imagine a lot of the more interesting conversations happened like in between missions and were not privy to them, unfortunately. So with this one, they actually showed that happen. And it is interesting to think, this is Victoria, who presumably did not expect Garrett to, come waltzing into her inner sanctum, so to speak, and now has to, I guess, recalibrate, right? Like, I mean, she calls him a hero, which is a little interesting. Based on what? Based on his previous action against the Mechanists, I suppose, but he hasn't really done all that much. He's worked against the City Watch to some extent, but again, the pagans were doing fine. They took Truart out themselves. Garrett was just a witness to that after the fact. So it's interesting. I'm wondering now on this, just on this playthrough and rewatch, if Victoria's kind of blowing smoke here, just trying to get him on side, because she realizes that it's hard to keep him out of places. But at any rate, let's check out the stats here, see what we missed. Yeah, quite a bit. So there could have been a lot more loot. Now, I'm not sure if this also considers, the previous mission, Trace the Courier, because we didn't really get to the loadout screen there. So it very well might consider all the loot that we could have gotten in that mission. And if that's the case, then we got most of what's available in Trail of Blood, because I think in Trace the Courier we were behind by about 400. That would leave us with, a couple hundred to make up here. In terms of secrets, there's none to be found, so we'll just continue to the next preview for the big one, Life of the Party.
The new scripture of the Master Builder?
Karis is rewriting ancient Hammer texts. But to what end, we don't know.
So you want me to find out?
Yes, but there's a more pressing problem. Karis is throwing a ball for the local nobility at Angel Watch, the new Mechanist tower in Dayport. We need to know what he is up to. You have to be there, Garrett. Tonight, while the party is in progress.
Angel Watch? Is this how our arrangement is going to work? You coming up with ways for me to get myself killed?
Is this really Garrett, the master thief I hear talking? If danger is going to be a problem for you, then...
Just give me the details.
Security at the tower will be extra heavy with the city's nobility in attendance. So gaining entrance will be difficult.
For you, maybe. But I won't be knocking on the front door. The rooftops aren't called the Thieves' Highway for nothing.
I have some equipment for you. You should begin immediately. And also...
Remember to pickpocket the party guests?
You must find out whatever you can about the Cetus Project, a name our agents have overheard repeatedly. Karis has an office in the tower. Try to obtain some information there.
Brilliant idea. Try to find information about Karis' secret project in his office.
You do remember who the enemy is, don't you, Garrett?
If your information is wrong, and I end up risking my neck for nothing, this arrangement is over. Then try asking me that question again.
Yeah, the big one, Life of the Party. This is, now I've only played this version of the mission. There apparently was a demo called, what is it, The Unwelcome Guest, or something like that, The Uninvited Guest, which was essentially just the rooftop section of this mission, the first half, basically. And that would be really interesting to give a shot, because that's the part that you love, right? Getting to the tower itself, which we do have to do, is more than half the fun, in my opinion. Once you get inside, it's, you're dealing with a Mechanist building and all Mechanists, but out on the streets, the rooftops, there's just a lot of fun stuff to do. So we need to do all these things. We need to get through the rooftops, get to Angel Watch, spy on Karis, break into his office, find out about this Cetus project, and then get the Scripture of the Master Builder, 1550 in loot, don't kill anyone, and then get back to the beginning. So all of that on expert difficulty. With regard to stuff we can buy, we get, I believe, some new purchase options in this mission, and some interesting options that allow us to circumvent that no killing objective. Oh, and these are just given to us. Great. Frog beast egg. Okay. So, smuggled into the city at great expense by Victoria's agents, these items will burst soggily when thrown and produce a frog beast who will ally with you. And so we can't buy any more. I'm not sure if we ever do get to purchase these, but they are a really interesting and very helpful thing, because if we release a frog beast and they end up killing somebody, that does not count against our no kills requirement. So we can murder people with frog beast eggs and the game considers it just fine, because it's the frog beast doing the killing, not Garrett, right? Scripture passage, so we've got the first part of that. We'll go as normal and get our equipment and loot tip. These are going to cost us significantly, 300 gold, but I just like to read them at the beginning of a mission just to see what's up. We start with 3 vine arrows and the option of buying 5 more. I'm not totally sure that we need any. Let's put a pin in that for now. Mines we're definitely going to avoid, because that definitely does count as killing. We got 6 moss arrows. We don't have any flash bombs, so I'm going to grab, let's say 2 of those. Let's get a noisemaker, and yeah, I guess let's get a 4th vine arrow. There's just so much verticality in this mission. I'm not quite sure if we're going to be able to retrieve all of them. It's probably unnecessary. But the rest of it, let's go ahead and get, I guess, 4 more water arrows. And then when we start up the next episode, we're going to be starting here in the bell tower on our way to Angel Watch. See you then.